Hello, I'm Matteo, the Chief Mobile Opinionist at Tech Travel Geeks, and this is the Tech Travel Geeks unboxing video of the Nokia 3.4. We will be following up this video with a video of the setup experience on the Nokia 3.4, so make sure you're subscribed and you have notifications turned on with that bell to make sure you get to know when we've released those videos. We'll be following up our Nokia coverage with more comparisons between this device and others, as well as any coverage about consumer electronics we believe make the travel experience better. Right then, our Nokia 3.4 arrived today from Amazon UK. We've been waiting for this device for a while because Nokia have been quite good in 2020 about announcing devices, but then taking their time in actually releasing them. And just as with the packaging we saw on the Nokia 1.3 and then the Nokia 5.3 and then following it up with the Nokia 2.4, you can see the packaging is pretty similar. There's a graphic showing off the device, the basic specifications, which we'll go through in a moment, as well as regulatory details and the key branding that go with it. But as far as the packaging goes, this is the Nokia 3.4. And once you open up the tray box, on the inside you're presented with the device itself, which we'll look at in a moment. It has a nice lip, and they're obviously highlighting the fact that it has a Google Assistant button, like all recent Nokia phones. But we'll look at the device in a moment. Let's look at the other contents of the box. So there's a charger with a cable. Let's have a look at the cable first. So let's see if it's good news. That little bit of plastic holding the cable together is annoying. Yes, it is good news. So I have good news to give you. It goes from USB Type A to USB Type C. So the Nokia 3.4 is a USB Type C device. Unlike the Nokia 2.4 we recently unboxed and gave you the setup experience of, which is still micro USB. They were launched on the same day, but obviously this is a higher end device, so USB Type-C is fine. And there's a Nokia travel adapter with a little flippy third prong, USB Type-A for the cable, obviously. And then if we look at the details on the charger, it is 5 volt, 1 amp charger output. So this is a 5 watt charger. That's very, very disappointing. So this will be quite a slow charger. Not only that, as far as we're aware from the specifications, the charging speed of the Nokia 3.4 maxes out at all of 10 watts, so it's really nothing special. Right then, under a little plastic lip, there's a SIM ejector tool. This is quite consistent with Nokia's style of SIM ejector tools in the last few years. I'm going to put this aside and we'll be using that soon in the unboxing video. And then under that cardboard tray, there is product info and safety info and a quick getting started guide, which I'm sure we won't read. I'll just put that aside for now. So let's discard the packaging and focus on the device itself. You can already see a bit of Nokia branding shining through there. This is the dark grey or charcoal version of the device. Let's have a look a bit more detail once we take the plastic off. So, plastic lip at the top and the bottom should come off. It is quite slippy. There we go. And the device should slide out, and that's the case. So, first things first, my first impression is it's a lovely textured back. This is similar to what we saw on the Nokia 1.3 and then on the Nokia 2.4. The 5.3 had a sort of smoother back, but this sort of textured back is quite pleasant and less slippy. It has a decent amount of heft to it. It feels good, it feels solid. And on the back you can see there's a fingerprint scanner. On the right hand side we have the power button and the volume rocker, just as on many other Nokia devices released this year. On the underside, we have a microphone hole and a speaker hole, as well as the USB Type-C charging port. So great that it's USB Type-C, sadly it's slow charging. At the top, there is the fabled Courage port. Nokia are keeping this for their devices under that magic $200 price range, and it seems to be something they're listening to their customers about. There's also a tiny little microphone hole there. And on the other side, as we saw from the packaging, there is the Google Assistant button. Obviously, this is an Android One device. That means that Google and Nokia are working closely together to ensure that software updates are available in a timely manner for the device, as well as that tight Google Assistant integration. Now let's have a look at the SIM tray, because this is very interesting, especially for this Nokia 3.4 in its price range. What type of SIM tray does it have? So the good news is that this is not a hybrid one. This is a proper dual nano SIM tray, as well as having space for expanding storage using a memory card. So that's really good news. We'll be going through that in a bit more detail when we set up the Nokia 3.4 in our follow-up video. Now, the camera on the back, this is the new industrial design that Nokia have been using for a year or so. Very similar to Huawei's Mate 30 Pro series that started off the round camera modules on the back. This camera setup, it's a triple camera with LED flash. In this case, it is a 13 megapixel main sensor, a 5 megapixel ultra-wide sensor, and just a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Luckily, no pointless macro lens here. Nokia have cut that one out. And on the front, we'll look at it in a moment, there is an 8 megapixel wide angle selfie camera. I'm going to switch the screen on just so that you get to see what that screen is like. Obviously, this display is not the highest end one there is. You wouldn't expect that at this price point. It's a 720 by 1560 display. That's a 19.5 to 9 aspect ratio, so 19.5 to 9. And there goes the Nokia ringtone, great. This is HD ready or standard HD display. But as you can see, that selfie camera that we were saying earlier is in a punch hole at the top left-hand corner, similar to what we've seen on the Google Pixel 4a and on the Google Pixel 5. I quite like that industrial design, but there we go. So we'll go through the full setup at a later point. I don't know why this device has switched on with what looks like Chinese to me. Well, we'll look at that in a bit more detail in the setup video, but for around about £130, this seems to be a lot of smartphone in terms of its screen. It is powered, in this case, by a Qualcomm octa-core Snapdragon 460. In hamster terms, that means it has 8 hamsters powering the show, and they're sort of medium to small size hamsters. The memory on board in this model, which we purchased from Amazon UK, is a 3 gigabytes of RAM and 32 gigabytes of internal storage. But as we saw from the SIM tray, that's expandable with a micro SD card, so not really a big issue there. And all that wonderful set of chipsets is complemented by a 4000 mAh battery. Hopefully that doesn't need to be topped up quickly, because that might be a problem. So again, all Chinese. Interesting from Nokia here. So that was just a quick unboxing and walkthrough of my first impressions of the hardware, which are quite positive. This feels like a solid device. This is the Nokia 3.4. As I said at the beginning, we will be following up this video with a full experience of the setup of the Nokia 3.4, and in the coming days and weeks we'll be releasing comparison videos between the Nokia 3.4, the upcoming OnePlus Nord N100, as well as the Nokia siblings, the Nokia 5.3, the Nokia 2.4, and others. So keep an eye on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel for those videos. And for now, thank you for watching, and goodbye from us.